Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
We are diving deep into what was, a massive statement win for England in the Autumn Nations series, that 33-19 defeat of the All Blacks at Twickenham.
Yeah, this really wasn't just another win, was it? It felt more like a fundamental shift.
It did.
So our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to extract the core strategic and, personnel insights from your sources. We really need to get to the bottom of how England pulled this off.
And what this result means going forward, it completely derailed the All Blacks' quest for a Grand Slam, so the fallout is, well, it's huge for both sides.
It's such a positive story for England, though. What really shines through is the ambition, but it was grounded in this real clarity and control. They look genuinely prepared to win.
Absolutely. A very prepared side.
And if you want more of this kind of targeted, in-depth analysis, make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession.
Right, so let's start with the top line, because the turnaround itself is the real story here. New Zealand just bolted out of the gates. They were up 12-0 after, just 17 minutes?
Yeah, it looked ominous.
It did. But here's the defining statistic. From that moment on, England won the rest of the match. The next 63 minutes, 33-7. That is just a phenomenal effort. Psychologically, that's immense.
That suggests incredible adaptability, doesn't it? The sources point out that their ability to react, to actually read the match context, was a real hallmark of the performance. They didn't panic.
No, not at all.
Instead, you have George Ford, player of the match, just calmly keeping them in touch with those two opportunistic drop goals. That sort of composure, well, it's huge.
It is, and you see that controlled ambition in the scoring, too. England's tries were spread right across the team. You had Ollie Lawrence and Fraser Dingwall in the centers, Sam Underhill in the back row, Tom Roebuck on the wing.
So it wasn't just one player carrying them.
Exactly. While the All Blacks got their scores, England's attack just felt sustained. It felt strategic, and it was all built on fantastic territory management.
That control brings us right to the forwards, and specifically to Ben Earl at number 8. The man just keeps delivering. Another 20 carries in this match.
He's unbelievable.
But it's not just the raw numbers, is it? What were the tactics behind his carries that made them so effective?
That's the crux of it, really. The sources detail the brilliance of how they used him. Earl was often working in what they call a diamond pod of 3 around the centers.
Okay, so for anyone listening, a pod of 3 is basically a tight little unit of forwards running together, right?
Precisely. And in that diamond shape, Earl is a little bit behind 2 other forwards, which gives him options. He can either be the main carrier, or he can distribute late. It's designed to occupy multiple defenders.
So it's a focused power play, basically, to suck in defenders and create space somewhere else.
You've got it. It's classic Lee Blackett attack philosophy. Use that power up the middle, force the defense to commit, and suddenly you've got space out wide. And it certainly worked for the centers. Lawrence and Dingwall both had, outstanding afternoons.
You could have given player of the match to either of them, really.
2, easily.
So when you look at the halfbacks, you see this masterclass in contrasting styles that just perfectly used all that forward momentum. What do the sources say about the specific roles of Alex Mitchell and George Ford?
Well, Mitchell's value is all about pace, immediate pace. The source material talks about his ability to make untidy ball work. He just injects this variety operating, in the blink of an eye from the base.
And that forces the All Black defense to constantly chase and react.
Constantly. And then you have Ford, who provides that perfect counterpoint of control and gas.
So does Mitchell's tempo ever risk, messing with Ford's strategic thinking, or do they actually just boost each other?
They absolutely enhance each other. Mitchell's speed forces the All Blacks to stand off a bit to cover that break, and Ford uses that exact space to apply pressure with his ticking game. It was a perfect synthesis.
A perfect storm, really.
Yeah. England's players from 6 to 13, the whole spine of the team, they outplayed their opposites on tempo and, crucially, on temperament. That shows real maturity.
Let's jump to the final quarter then, because the game was closed out by this new concept, the Pom Squad. We all know about the Springboks Pom Squad. The sources are suggesting Henry Pollock is now defining England's version.
He defines absolute chaos, and I mean that in the best possible way. Pollock's role is crystal clear. Get on that pitch and close the match off with just relentless energy.
You can see it, can't you? He has this commitment that says no ball is ever unwinnable.
Never. And the impact moments are just phenomenal. You've got the chaos he creates off the side of a scrum to win a crucial turnover.
And then that desperate fly hack and follow-up that directly sets up the winning try for Tom Roebuck.
Yeah.
It was just pure effort. He really embodies that high-impact replacement idea.
And this shows that Steve Borthwick's interpretation of that Rassie Erasmus and Eddie Jones playbook is maturing very nicely. You saw massive shifts from Will Stewart at tight head, and then Tom Curry comes on and produces an earth-shattering tackle in the dying moments. That bench is a weapon now.
It really is. This match provided so much to analyze, and we love hearing what you think. Head over to our platform and comment. Does Henry Pollock define the Pom Squad for England, or is it more of a collective effort? Also, please subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss our next deep dive.
Now, we do have to turn to the All Blacks. Because this performance, well, it strongly suggests they just ran out of steam. The sources indicate their depth isn't quite where it needs to be, especially after a long tour.
They look outgunned, didn't they?
Yep.
In the back row, the centers, the halfbacks, the English combinations just seemed to have the edge.
They did, and some of the personnel decisions seemed a bit strange. The removal of Cam Roygaard after just 50 minutes. I mean, he was the one keeping them in the game with his high-speed service. Barring an injury we didn't see, that was bizarre.
They also really missed Jordy Barrett's physicality at 12, didn't they?
Yeah.
Moving Fainga'anuku out to the wing just let England's centers completely dominate the gain line.
Exactly. And if you lose the gain line battle in the center, you're always fighting on the back foot.
From a technical side, though, the biggest concern for New Zealand has to be the scrum. They were thoroughly toasted by the England front rows.
They really were.
And if England has finally got its scrum mojo back, that transforms them. That's a side that can win territory and penalties consistently, and that is a massive problem for any opponent.
It is a massive problem. But we do have to address the one major question mark still hanging over England's performance, and that was the early defensive system failure, the one that let New Zealand score so easily at the start.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The system failed because 3 different issues all happened at once to create this mismatch on the outside.
Right, so think of the defense line like a concertina. The All Blacks drove hard right into the middle, into that 10-12 channel, which stretched everything out. So, issue 1, protecting that channel, pulled a back rower, Guy Pepper, inwards.
Okay, so he sucked in.
He sucked in. Issue 2. The fullback, the man in the boot who covers that wide space, he just failed to connect with the rest of the line quickly enough.
And then came the killer blow, involving the winger. We're talking about the penultimate carrier. Why is that term so important here?
Well, the penultimate carrier is just the player who passes the ball to the very last player. The winger, Tom Roebuck, was forced to come off his wing to defend this second-to-last attacker instead of staying wide to cover the final man.
Which left the last man completely free.
And the All Blacks did that 4 times in quick succession. And you have to give them credit. They deliberately de-engineered that system. They knew what they were doing.
A sharp learning curve for England's new defensive system, then.
A very sharp one. But, again, to England's credit, they fixed it during the match, which is why the score flipped so dramatically. It shows they can adapt under pressure.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, the core insight is that this victory was absolutely not an accident. It was built on a deliberate, strategic foundation.
You had the clarity of Ford and Mitchell, the forward dominance from Earl's carrying, and that rejuvenated scrum, and then the game-closing chaos of Henry Pollock and the Pom Squad.
It's a powerful statement, isn't it? That the journey to the 2027 World Cup has maybe just begun in earnest.
It really is. But there is a word of warning from Tom Wood. He said there is now a bloody big target on the back of Henry Pollock. He has to navigate those true great pitfalls that come after huge early success. And that's the next big challenge for Borthwick's maturing team.
A perfect thought to leave you with. Thank you for listening to this deep dive. We really encourage you to share your thoughts on the game's tactical details on our platform. And make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.